Hi friends, this is EDJ. I've been going through the chapters of my book, Deconstructing Sexual Shame, over video on TikTok and Instagram things. And I'm up to chapter 11, but right before the chapter, there is a song that I typed into the book that I wrote in 2010 called Innocent, and at the end of this video I'm going to play like an excerpt of the song that I recorded this morning. My voice, as you can hear, sounds really scratchy right now. It's not the best recording either. For whatever reason, when I record music these days, it just doesn't turn out the way that I want it to. So if you want to hear the original, go to my website, evangelicaldeconstructionjourney.com, and you can hear the version from when I was in my 20s and sounded much better than I do right now. After the song in the book comes a prayer for sexual healing, and then chapter 11 is called Spiritually Transformative Grief. And I felt like I very much needed to walk through the grief of sexual assault trauma, and I needed to go through the whole, like the steps of grief. So like anger, denial, shame, depression or sadness, and letting go, releasing the grief of what I internalized as sexual assault, which like I can't prove that I was sexually assaulted, and my memory is, it's more of like I see a picture of it happening, and I'm not always convinced that it's me. And I've been learning recently about epigenetics and how we can actually inherit previous generations' trauma, and so I have to wonder if some of my own sexual trauma comes from previous generations. But nonetheless, I feel that I absolutely, undeniably have sexual trauma that has to be released from my body, and I went through an experience of almost daily, waking up in the night or experiencing just a almost sudden intense emotion in my spirit, in my heart, and realizing, okay, I need to express this emotion, I need to feel it, I need to think about it, I need to process it, I need to write about it, I need to sing about it. So I literally was doing a lot of singing, a lot of crying, a lot of songwriting, a lot of journaling, a lot of screaming, singing to worship music, praying in tongues because I was very Pentecostal, all of the things that you can think of. And it felt to me, my experience was that it felt like God was like putting his finger on, this is what you're feeling that you need to release. And it would suddenly be this thought, this like thing that I had to resolve. So then I would do the praying and the crying and go through it. And I had all kinds of memories of, not memories, like I would picture in my head the situation of being sexually assaulted and how I felt about it, in order to prepare myself for something new and different. Because I knew that in my late 20s, I still was a quote unquote virgin, unable to have sex because I was terrified of sex because of sexual assault trauma that lived in my body. And the only way I felt as though the only way I was going to ever be able to have sex in any circumstance, married, not married, whatever, the only way I was going to be able to do that is if I released all of this trauma and said, I'm letting it go. I don't want to have a traumatic response the first time I have sex. I want to be able to choose to have sex. I want to be able to enjoy sex. I want to be free in myself, my body, my spirit, my mind, my soul, everything, to enjoy and find sex pleasurable, because I did find masturbation pleasurable, but I would often, almost every time, feel extreme shame afterwards, and even to the point of like a panic attack or an anxiety attack over the fact that I was enjoying sex, like with myself, but enjoying sex nonetheless. And it really, like I really had to let all these repressed feelings and traumatic feelings and traumatic almost memories, or like pictures or understandings that I had of things that were done, whether to me or to past generations, I don't care. Things that happened that caused trauma for me, that caused trauma in my body and my heart and my soul, that disabled me from being able to give myself sexually to anyone. And it really had nothing to do with whether I was married or not. Like, because I would think even about married sex and I have a panic attack and go, I can't. How am I going to let go of my virginity, of this prized possession that I've been told that I have, but it's been assaulted, and I don't really know if I have it, and I don't really know if I can lose it. And it was all this big blown up thing in my head. Like, sex just was going to be such a big deal, and I just knew that having sex was going to be a huge big deal that I couldn't do without releasing so much of this crap. And it's purity culture crap as well. Like, it really is this inability to bring myself sexually to another person, whether married or not. Unable to do it. Paralyzed. Traumatized. Panicking. So that is what I talk about in chapter 11, is dealing with the grief of sexual trauma, or beginning to deal with the grief of sexual trauma, and sharing the song that I wrote about sexual trauma 15 years ago. So now I'm going to play you just a little bit of that recording from this morning, and I hope that you might, if you find this song meaningful, even though maybe I don't sing it so great in my 40s, look up the original version from my 20s on Evangelical Deconstruction Journey in the music section. Okay. Sorry that you cry.